Hello friends, David Miller, Phoenix, Arizona photographer, multimedia artist. I want to talk to you about Polaroid and Instax. I talked to you guys about both of those quite a bit, but I have bought a few Polaroid cameras. I bought a lot of Polaroid film. I've been shooting it recently with some of the models that I work with in Los Angeles and coming up in Seattle and Phoenix. And in some of my videos, I'll refer to going Polaroid as being an upgrade. I've had people challenge me on that because Polaroid film is notoriously difficult to work with compared to the Fuji Instax film. With whether I'm shooting on the Fuji cameras or my Lomo cameras, I usually get something that's well exposed with correct colors, and that is totally not the case with Polaroid film. Polaroid is incredibly finicky. If you are shooting outside of a particular temperature range, if it's too cold and you don't have the right temperature on the chemistry, you could end up with pictures that are really blue. If it's too hot outside, which it frequently is in Phoenix, you can end up with pictures that are kind of reddish orange. And certainly there's filters you can put on the camera to correct these things, but I've definitely never had these problems when I shot Fuji Instax. So I wanted to address, what's the difference between Polaroid and Fuji, and the benefits of both, because there are benefits to both. Number one, Polaroid is something that the general public is aware of in a way that Fuji Instax isn't. Fuji Instax have been around for at least 10 years, but when people think of instant film, they think of Polaroid. And even when I try and sell things on eBay or Etsy, I'll have a choice for Polaroid. I'm not gonna have a choice for Instax. So kind of like Xerox or Saran Wrap or Photoshop, Polaroid is a word that is fixed in the public consciousness, being a certain thing, and if you talk about Fuji Instax, sometimes you gotta get into detail and explain it. The Polaroids that I've worked with are generally a higher quality material. They're more durable, and that means a lot to the collector's marketplace. When you get an Instax, they're kind of flimsy and they're kind of thin, and they feel like they're a little more easy to damage. Now, obviously, if you drove a car over a Polaroid, it's just as damaged as it is an Instax, but there definitely is something that's harder about the Polaroid. Also, Polaroids are larger and more detailed than Instax minis. Instax wide and Polaroid are roughly the same size, they're just shaped differently. The composition of what goes in those images is absolutely totally different. I find it a lot more difficult to compose for an Instax wide, particularly because I don't have SLR capabilities. I can't see exactly what I'm composing for. When I shoot my Polaroids and I'm using my SX70, I absolutely can compose through the lens because it is a single lens reflex, and what you see is what you get. Now, I'm an art photographer, and being an art photographer means that things don't have to be perfect and they don't have to be crystal clear. And actually, when they are crystal clear and the colors are correct and there are no weird flaws that show up in the work, it actually takes away from the art in my mind. The kind of art I grew up with always had some sort of intrinsic flaws, even if it was printmaking by Andy Warhol or music like Nine Inch Nails has this texture and atmosphere that is really unique to it. It's not perfect production. I just don't get those kind of flaws in my Fuji Instax work. I will get light leaks when I use my Lomo cameras, but when I use my Fuji Neo Classic, unless I take that film and absolutely crush it during its development, I'm not going to get a lot of those kind of weird little damaged bits on the ends, and those little sharp things when your rollers in the Polaroid cameras aren't super clean. As an artist who is working with mechanical electronic devices to make my art, I really want to be surprised by the materials. I want to be surprised by the results. And when you're working with mechanical stuff or digital stuff, you don't always get surprises. And lastly, I consider Polaroid a little bit of an upgrade because there is a wider collector's market for these Polaroids. They are more highly valued by people who collect this kind of stuff than Instax. That said, the price tag that I put on my Polaroids is a lot higher than what I put on my Instax. So as an artist who likes to sell to the proletariat and likes to make art that's affordable by the masses, I still shoot Instax, and I'm still printing Instax using my SQ10 or my SP2 printer. I probably will not shoot as much on my Instax cameras as I do my Polaroid cameras, and most of that has to do with the limitations of space in my camera bags, the fact that I've been shooting Instax for 7 years now at this point, and I'm getting a little bored with it, and Polaroid is a little more exciting just because it's new, and also because I want to be part of the Polaroid shooting community as much as I've been part of the Fujifilm Instax community. Almost all of my treasured family memories were taken on Polaroids. I have a pretty big collection of things from maybe age 5 through age 22 or so. In the early 2000s, and all I can say is it means a lot to me to be working with this kind of material. Sentimentality is a strong factor in a lot of the art we make, but if something means more to the artist, then it's probably going to mean more to an audience. So those are my main reasons for shooting Polaroid, for showcasing more Polaroid in these videos, but by no means is this to say Instax is garbage, it's trash, I'm never gonna use it. You will always find Instax for sale in my Etsy, eBay shops. They will always be treasured things, and you know what? If I'm in a pinch, I'm in another city, I'm a lot more likely to be able to run into a Target or a Walmart in some other city and pick up affordable Instax, shoot with those cameras.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more creative tutorials, gear reviews and video art. Also check out our Patreon for weekly bonus videos and model photography sets.